So this deck is a Sanguine Brushstroke style deck. Sanguine Brushstroke has just recently been adjusted in Alchemy, so that way it still does what it normally does, which is enter the battlefield, you get a blood token, you get a blood artist. And blood artist still does its thing of whenever it or another creature dies, period, the target player loses life and you gain a life. So that means that it still gives you the same value. Any creature on board dies, you're draining your opponent, they lose life, you gain life. What they did decide to change on Sanguine Brushstroke is it now has whenever you sacrifice a blood token, each opponent loses life, instead of they lose life, you gain life. They think that by doing this adjustment to the card is going to make it so people are not going to want to play it. But if they wanted to adjust any card, they should have adjusted the blood artist that you get out of it. But, so the goal of the deck is we run Sanguine Brushstroke, we get the blood artist, and we get the ability to make it so whenever we sacrifice blood, we get to drain the opponent. Our version of the deck has been nerfed a little bit because we put a little more emphasis on the blood tokens. So we run the Voldaren Epicure, 1/1, enters battlefield, deal 1 point damage, create a blood token. Bloodcaster, whenever a vampire, or I'm sorry, whenever a creature, whenever Bloodcaster or another non-token creature we control dies, we get to create a blood token. Blood-Tithe Harvester enters battlefield, create a blood token. You tap, sack it, -X/-X to a creature where it's double the number of blood tokens we control. The big change to the deck that we've done is we've added Florian, Voldaren Scion. That way we have a 3-drop in the deck for the purposes of Agadeem's Awakening. But Valerian also does give us the ability to get some pseudo draw effects. It's that whenever, at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, so after combat, you get to look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponent has lost this turn. Exile one of those cards and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. You may play that exile card this turn. So, any type of life loss that would make the opponent lose, whether it be from Meathook Massacre, Brushstroke, or combat damage, will cause Florian to allow us to look at the top so many cards per deck, pick one of them, put all the other cards on the bottom. That one card we grab, we may play it. So if we pick a land, we can play it as long as we're going to play the land this turn. Or we can play any of our spells, whether it be an instant, sorcery, creature, etc. We're still also running Henrika Domnathi over the other legendary vampire. I'm unfortunately forgetting its name. Angie. Now, I think Angie is also a good slot in the deck if you have copies of it. If you don't have Henrika itself, because Henrika is a mythic. The reason though I went with Henrika is because at the beginning of your combat on your turn, choose one of the abilities has been chosen. We make a player sacrifice creatures, you can draw a card, lose life, or you can transform. And when it transforms, it becomes a 3/4 flying death type lifelink creature, which means that it's a very strong creature for attacking with, as well as defending. The reason why I went with Henrika is because I like the idea of being able to make our opponent sacrifice creatures, because against like the dragon decks, they usually don't want to have to give up most of their creatures, while we're fine with giving up most of our early cards. Florian, I think, will be a very big positive to the deck, because a 3/3 first striker for 3 is very solid. And if we get into a late part of the game where we're against a control deck that's board wiped us a couple times, Agadeem's Awakening will allow us to grab a nice arrangement of creatures. To help us with the deck, we are using a lot of Village Rites and Deadly Disputes to sacrifice to draw for value. Village Rites allows us to sacrifice any creature, draw 2 cards. Deadly Disputes allows us to sacrifice creatures or artifacts, means that we can actually sacrifice our blood tokens. And that's a general rundown of the deck. We'll go ahead and hop into some games and see how well it's still performing. Alright. I think we have another hand that's a bit of a risky keep, but a worthwhile keep. Alright, we're against either mono white or white green, or even white black. So which variation is it, is the question. Thanks to the Blood-Tithe Harvester, we do have an answer for all of their creatures that they can play next turn. Alright, Voice of the Blessed, we can answer that. Opponent's also stuck on mana. Alright. We get rid of Voice of the Blessed right away. It's a little too risky to leave it up to the possibility that the opponent can play multiple creatures and gain more life. Alright, so Book of Exalted Deeds combo deck. I can't remember. Do we have... I can't remember if we have the land in the deck to deal with this. Alright. I'm going to attack in. Probably shouldn't have played that land. But I'm holding up the Deadly Dispute, Infernal Grasp. The reason why I say I probably shouldn't play the land is I probably should just use the Deadly Dispute during our turn, offering off a blood to try and find our second black source. Alright, we're gonna have to probably play that as our second black source. Alright, we're gonna hurt ourselves a little. Go for the Henrika. And we're gonna choose to draw a card, lose a life. Based on the opponent's deck, there's probably a lot of sweepers in it because of the Book of Exalted Deeds, but then again, they are a life gain deck, so they might not need it. Alright, Voice of the Blessed for the opponent. We'll get rid of it. They have a protection spell from it. We can just always use Brittle Blast to kill it off during our turn. Alright, we're fine with the trade there. Alright. Get our first Brushstroke on board. And we'll start attacking it. Let's see. I'm going to hold off on playing Bloodcaster, holding up Brittle Blast. Alright. Splendor, not too worried about. Let's go ahead and activate the draw. We don't need 2 Meathook Massacres, so we're going to discard one of those, draw another card. Alright, we get another Brushstroke on board. Go for a redraw on this land right now. Okay, get some more damage in, and we'll bring out the Harvester. Because we're not too worried about the board getting blown up at this point. It's a lot of value for us with the creatures dying. The opponent would lose 10 life at this point if they actually used a sweeper. Alright, not too worried about the Catilda, as we do have a Brittle Blast. That will not only kill it, but exile it, so we don't have to worry about coming back from the graveyard. Unfortunately, that is going to give them enough life gain triggers that they'll grow Catilda out of the range of Brittle Blast. But opponent has decided to split up their life gain triggers that we can still kill it. We do lose 1 Brushstroke, which means that the discard draw triggers aren't going to drain them for as much. We don't mind taking this hit. Unfortunately, we are going to put ourselves in an awkward position that we're going to use this Brittle Blast against the opponent and make it so that way things don't go to the graveyard. So we don't get the triggers from Blood Artist. But we're making it so where these cards can't be brought back from the graveyard either. Uh, should have actually played these out first. That was a bit of a mistake. Because if I had played these out first, we would have been able to start transforming. We would have gotten a lot more blood, one. But two, we would have been able to also start transforming them. So minor cut, because we would have gotten 2 more blood tokens and been able to transform 3 of them into creatures. If they attack in, we definitely block. Alright, borrowed time. What is borrowed time being used on? Alright, they're going to get rid of the brushstrokes entirely. Means that the sacrificing the blood isn't going to give us as much value anymore. We do need to sacrifice the blood to get a redraw here. Need to find something more useful. This would be a case where we'd be able to punish the opponent a lot with those. But sadly, we just didn't quite have an answer there. Alright. Opponent does get a extra card draw thanks to their Splendor, since we didn't make them lose any life. I didn't want to give up our Bloodcasters that turn, because we did manage to draw a Harvester, and I want to be able to sacrifice the Harvester, kill this Angel off, and get us a lot of value, but it looks like we're not going to get that option. One, two, three, four, five. Sadly, they've now grown that out of the range of Meathook Massacre. Alright, it's back in range of Meathook Massacre, and I think we're just going to have to blow it up. Unfortunately, by blowing it up, they'll be able to get back one of their creatures from their graveyard. But let's see, if we actually hold off on doing Meathook Massacre, or if we do it right now. Let's see, if we do it right now, they'll only get 1 trigger against this, because this has got the Would Die Exile trigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Let's see, actually, we're looking at 10 on our side, plus 2, that's 12. And then extra 5 for our side. I don't want to do it, but I think we have to. We need to do this because if we don't do it now, this is going to grow outside of the range of our ability to kill it. I wanted more creatures to be on board for this to really be a lethal hit here. But we're in a state where we're not drawing answers. We at least get a bunch of blood for this, which means that we do have a lot of redraw power. At this point, we don't mind the opponent using this Field of Ruin to blow up our Aghanim Awakening. It's just that way we thin out the lands from our deck. But at this point, if we draw any lands, we're just going to discard it, draw another card. Okay. So, as I said, we drew a land, we discard it. Need to make sure I tap red sources for the next couple. Alright, we'll use Village Rites to draw some cards. Alright, we get Brushstroke. Unfortunately, because of how the game tapped our mana for the activating of the first one, we had no chance to play the second Brushstroke. Alright, so Splendor is going to gain some life. They're going to get some aggressiveness in on us because of the +1/+1 counters. We need to finish them before they find the their land. They find Faceless Haven, we will just lose this game because there's no way for us to win with that on board with this book. Alright. Play Brushstroke. So we actually managed to get all 4 of our Brushstrokes. One managed to have 2 answers. Let's see if we can find more. I mean, we have enough blood on board that we could just discard draw to kill the opponent off. And we are drawing all the lands right now, so... Actually, undo that. Use the black source this time, just in case we come across one of our black-red cards, or even the red card that's a 1-drop. Alright, I guess we'll just go through all the lands in the deck. How many lands have we gone through? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 7 in play that are basic lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, we hit a deadly dispute at this point. Alright, we'll hold off on sacrificing more at the moment. But gain some more life. They gain chunks of 2 whenever they cast spells. And they get another Book of Exalted Deeds. They're just casting this purely to get the Angel trigger because they gain enough life. Let's see, that does give them 13 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's see, 7, 8. We still could just discard, draw enough that the opponent loses. May as well block this. We'll give them the GGs because we know we have lethal. Just gonna be a lot of discard draw. Wow, even more lands. I mean, lands are what we want to discard. The land count is insane on what we're drawing. But it doesn't matter. We just win this way. There's no need to cast anything. Fortunately, it takes a little while to do all of this. I don't know if the opponent realizes that we have enough. I kind of want to just kill them with the Epic here. Alright, there we go. Epic here finish. Alright, and there we go. That was the Drain Out victory, even with it being nerfed. We end up just devastating them with the sheer amount of blood tokens we generated. Alright, this actually seems really good. 1, 2, and 3 drop. We just need to make sure we play Florian after we do any attacking if we do it, because we'll just lose whatever card is on the top 3. Otherwise. Alright, opponent brings out Stonebinder's Familiar, which means we're going to expect a lot of the exile-type creatures from our opponent. If we draw some more mana for the Meat Hook Massacre, I think we'll be able to seal the deal against them pretty easily. Sorry, what was that? Sorry, just one moment. I need to respond to something. Okay, thank you for waiting. I'll go ahead and get back into it now. Let's see, from here, I think we'll just go with the Brushstroke over the Florian. This makes it that way, the opponent does try to get aggressive and attack in. We can use the Epicure as a blocker and get some life drain still. Alright, Adeline. Strong card. But is it going to come out fast enough? Let's see, if we play this, we have a chance of getting a land within top couple and being able to play that. But I think it would probably be safer for us to just play him after combat. That way we don't risk losing a card permanently. Alright, they're going to activate their Faceless Haven, but we can just block that Florian and not lose anything. And we just jump block the Adeline, or just trade against the token. No, we want more tokens being on board, because Blood Artist with the Meat Hook Massacre. Okay. So let's see, play another land to the board. Attack in for 2. Probably should actually wait on playing that land in case this happened. Is it too early to play it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's too early to play it. But unfortunately, let that one go and rot. Yeah, and that was a misplay. I shouldn't have played my land. I should have attacked it with Bloodcaster, played the land out of the Florian's ability. If they hit the Blood Artist, that's going to feel bad. Yeah, that feels bad. Because that makes it that way we don't get the auto win next turn. Let's see, we still can just easily block these with Florian. If they just attack with that, we just block the token that gets generated. First strike will kill it, so we'll only take 4 damage here. So yeah, we wasted a Meat Hook Massacre, unfortunately. That's a good draw. And we're going to want to play this before we go to combat. Now we can get the transform or the other functions. Let's go and transform right away. Get the attack in. See what we find. Grab the land. And we'll pass. It's a little bit of a shame that the card was put on the bottom. Unfortunately, we can't see it even though it was just the one-up because it likes to do the... It was technically shuffled before it was put on bottom. But the Awakening is a strong card. Alright, so what do they grab with the Skyclave apparition? Do they go for the Henrico or Florian? Alright, they grab Florian. That's okay. Because Henrico's going to give us a nice hit in the air for some life. Let's see, we actually can hit for... What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's be 5 and 4. Yeah, we have lethal in there. Punt doesn't realize it, but they're dead. And we don't even have to win with the Meat Hook Massacre. So, spend, activate, activate, and there we go, we got lethal. Okay, this seems like a very keepable hand here. Not only do we have the ability to go for early harvesters, but we have an early brushstroke as well. I like the idea that we drew the Deadly Dispute then, because that means once when we go for this brushstroke, we can always sacrifice the blood for extra value. I do believe we are against red-green werewolves, and the card that they foretold is the creature that gets, it's like a 4/4 haste creature, that if you've played it from the foretold slot, it gets an extra +1/+1 counter on it for each turn it's been foretold. Unfortunately, we did not run out of land, so I think we Deadly Dispute a blood token. Try to find a land. There we go. And we bring out another Blood-type Harvester. We hold on to the treasure token in case we need to use a Meat Hook Massacre. Question is, how many removal spells is our opponent sitting on? Because they eyed our Blood-type Harvester for a moment there. So I'm not sure if they have another removal spell or not. Alright, Town Raised Tyrant. I think we will actually go ahead and sacrifice our treasure here, but for a different reason. See, so we hit decline, so that way we take 2 damage. Oh, we don't actually need to sacrifice the treasure. So we bring out our Epicure. We bring out Henrica. Move to combat, and we say we both sacrifice a creature. Not only do we get to remove their tyrant, but we also get to attack them with the harvester.
Thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to join me while I stream, you can find me on Twitch, the link below. I hope to see you again in the next video, and have a nice one.